Hello, and welcome to another version of Reality Model Railroading, brought to you by Burr, Stewart. You can see, bang, we're going to do a little bit of switching, but mostly it's visiting locomotives from different people's layouts, such as this beautiful British Columbia Railway locomotive that Brian Elchlet brought over. And I'm also going to clean up a mess from a spilled gondola car on the narrow gauge using 3 different vacuum cleaners and an occasional other random locomotive. Now let's start with this UK train that Robin brought over. Very well dressed up, as you can see, he is there. And it took a lap around the layout. These are special spent uranium cars. They're highly radioactive materials in those cars, and as you know, we get kind of a kick out of that here. But the key feature of this locomotive is that it has a sensor. Well, wait a minute, I'll tell you in a second. We have to enjoy downtown Seattle. It's not every day radioactive material goes by the old spaghetti factory, after all. Very nice. Don't you love those grade crossing bells? So the key thing I want you to watch in this locomotive is that it has a little sensor in the truck so that when the trucks swivel from a curve, it triggers an automatic squealing sound inside the locomotive decoder. Now tell me that is not cool. Here you can listen for yourself on these curves. Hear that? It wasn't the loudest thing in the world, but that can be adjusted, of course. It's an improvement over the squealer that I installed inside the track because it happens anytime the locomotive exceeds a certain curvature. It makes a squeal. I really like that. Now it's going to go over my squealer that's installed in the track, and you can hear that in a second here. I think it's coming up right here.
But it can send out a signal from our forum, so it actually sends out 12 pieces of information every second.
Very nice. This is the northbound main line along the shores of Puget Sound. And of course it wouldn't normally have British engines and cars on it, but these are 00 scale equipment that Robin brought over, and we enjoy running it.
This transmitter in here and the same one in here, the transmitting power is only...
And you probably enjoy watching it, or you wouldn't still be here watching this, right? So up here is the Skykomish staging yard at the top of the layout, and you can see the Rainbow Bridge in the back. And the F unit on the right contains the camera that we use to monitor the situation in the staging yard. Now, meanwhile, of course, as usual, Scott was doing some switching in Interbay with this Jeep. And along the lines of reality model railroading, this is what kind of happens. Bang! So we couple onto that car. He pulls back to see if he actually coupled, and he didn't. So then he goes back and does it again. Bang! A second time. Still didn't work. So I got frustrated and just grabbed the car and slammed it into the engine. So unrealistic. But that's reality model railroading. You can't have patience forever. Theoretically, if I maintained all my Katy couplers, they would all work perfectly every time, but it's not quite like that. Oh, we get to enjoy a nice caboose, too. And a gondola load full of pipes. Detailed brake equipment on the end of a covered hopper car. Don't you just love a freight yard? Full of stuff to look at. Well, I did want to show you these engines that Brian brought over. This is an Alco. I guess both of these are Alcos. The one on the right, of course, being a BN Alco that was manufactured in Schenectady. The one on the left was made in Montreal in about 1976, whereas the BN one was made in the 60s. But look at the weathering job that Brian loves to do on his locomotives. See those trucks? Ugh. Look at that truck there. All of that rust and grime, spillage on the tank. And I was breaking in one of the new scale trains GP30s at the time, so we got to enjoy a little shot of that in the reverse direction. Now we get to run these engines. In keeping with today's theme of reality model railroading, the two engines broke apart, or maybe they weren't even coupled together in the first place, who knows. Now this is the ultimate test on my layout of any piece of rolling stock. Can it make it through the curved diamond crossing? And clickety-clack, it's doing all right though. Look at that. I'll let you enjoy this scratch-built diamond crossing that I'm so proud of building. Cool. Also, we need stock pens. Every time I show you that, I go, ugh.
Sorry
So
about that.
Brian had accidentally spilled a load of gravel off the narrow gauge the last video, and I thought I would try vacuuming it up because we need the main line clear. We can't have a pile of, in this case, copper ore piled up. So I used this handheld battery-powered vacuum cleaner that I recently bought for $30. And it picked up most of it, and you can see inside there, it's got a cup that collects all of the dirt. So I had cleaned out the cup before doing this, and if I remove that filter, you can see that I very nicely recovered all that material. I can put it right back in the hopper car. No, gondola, excuse me. But I wasn't satisfied that we'd removed everything, so I went back and tried vacuuming up the rest, and it didn't do a very good job. It's a low-power vacuum cleaner. It has a brush attachment that I thought might be a little more powerful. I don't know. It doesn't seem to be that much more powerful, even with the brush attachment. I'm trying everything I can think of to get that gravel off there. I went down to the bottom level to get a few of the scraps that are on there. It didn't seem to really do the job. So that's too bad. So I went and got my larger vacuum cleaner that has a shoulder strap on it, and I got it out and said, all right, we'll use the larger power vacuum cleaner. And we tried that. I'm still not too impressed with this. I'm getting some more particles off, but now we've degenerated into a whole vacuum cleaner analysis video from what was a perfectly good train watching video. Sorry about that. It'll be over soon, but I just wanted to show you that I had to resort to the big guns to get this job done. So this was a medium, what I would call a medium power vacuum cleaner. It still wasn't doing the job. So I got out the big, powerful vacuum cleaner. There you can see I got some serious suction on this thing, and it is seriously picking up those little particles. Also making a huge noise. And I got a little nervous that it would suck up my track labels, so I put my finger on it just to make sure it didn't suck that up. Let's see, look, it's pulling all the particles off, and then I went back up to the upper track, got rid of all those particles and the side wall. So finally victory. I don't know why it took me so long, but I wanted to try the milder approaches first, but clearly they didn't work. So here's a review of what we just looked at. There's the big, powerful one that finally did the job. And then this is the handheld shoulder strap model that didn't really do it. And that's the handheld battery-powered one that I started with. So that's what happens when you spill a live load. You have to vacuum it up. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Next time, hopefully, we'll do a little more operations and not so much maintenance. But, you know, these things happen, and we've got to learn how to deal with them if we're running a big model railroad. So for now, this is Burr Stewart, wishing you much fun with trains.